And on the note of engagement, I'm going to turn it over to Whitney and let Whitney talk about trying to make sure you're doing your best to engage the attendees.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so just a show of hands, how many of you, is this your first year to participate in the Business Expo? First year. Okay. Okay. We had more in the last group. So most of you kind of have an idea of what's gonna happen, and so the new people, welcome. We're excited you're going to be participating this year. I'm going to give you just a few pointers on engagement, because of course the more engaging you are, the more interesting your booth is, the more interesting your activity is, the more people will come to it, which in turn is also more information that you will collect from them to turn them into potential customers or clients in the future. So one of the things that we did want to mention, there is not a theme this year, there is an activity theme, which can also be tied into the decoration, but the activity theme is game shows or board games. So you can do, say you didn't want to dress up in a full get-up, you don't have to do that. You can have a board game activity or some kind of activity like that if you didn't want to necessarily dress up, or there is some people who are decorating according to what their activity theme is. So that's just your preference, whatever you would like to do at your booth. But we definitely encourage to decorate your booth, because the more interesting it is, the more people will want to come check it out. So here's just a couple of pointers on engagement. Games and prizes attract people, but it's up to you to engage and maintain their interest. So here's just a few pointers. Have your 2-minute elevator pitch ready. Have it ready. If you've already got it ready, then you're good to go. But if you can't tell the highlights of your business or your organization within a minute or two, then definitely have that prepared ahead of time. Because there is so many people at the expo and you will have multiple people coming up to you at the same time, it's so important to just have that ready and just have that memorized. That way you can give it to them quickly, and you're able to really communicate with that as many people as possible. So definitely have that ready. Social media, that's a big thing. Susie's already covered most of it, but you definitely want to promote it prior to the event on social media. You know, definitely promote the Business Expo and tell people that you'll be there, but do the same the day of. You know, if you've got some downtime in between people coming and visiting your booth, post pictures, do posts on social media, do Facebook Live videos. I mean, do things to draw people in. I know at the last training, there was we had talked about doing Facebook Live videos. You could even show people, if you've got a giveaway at your booth, you could show them what you're giving away. You know, kind of just kind of let the audience know what all's going on so that they want to come and be a part of it and attend it. So definitely keep that in mind. The day of the expo, you definitely want to be very active on social media the day of. Also, don't forget to talk with other vendors about trading leads. There may be a business there that's a great contact for you, and you may want to reach out to them and exchange leads. If there's someone on the other side of the expo, they get a certain number of contacts, and then you get a certain number at the end. There may be somebody that you missed that they got, or vice versa. So, you know, it's always good to kind of compare that and share those with someone. You know, that's just better for both of you, because you both get all the contact information for those attendants. Also, factor in time. Use a buddy system for breaks. It's going to be a very long day, very long day. So be sure you kind of factor that in, and maybe use a buddy system. Have somebody to come and sit at your booth to give you a break every now and then. Come to the hospitality suite and just kind of relax. Just you know get something to drink, just rehydrate, and then go back out there. So definitely make use of that, and we encourage multiple people to be there to work the booth. It's also great because if there's a lot of people there at the same time, that's two people that can be talking to the group as opposed to just one person. So I mean, definitely keep that in mind and have a buddy system in place if you are able to do that. Also, as people are walking through the expo, educate them. We actually did some research when before last year's training that said that if the person who's walking through that comes to your booth, if they learn something interesting or if they learn something new that they've never heard or knew before, they're more likely to remember you. And so that's definitely something to keep in mind. Maybe incorporate that into your elevator pitch or whatever. You know, if you educate them and they learn something new and interesting, then they'll remember you. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And also, be sure you schedule a follow-up by making the appointment right then, or give them a gift certificate to come visit you, just depending on what type of business you have. Like Susie said, having that calendar there, that way you can make the appointment there, is very important. If you are selling merchandise or if you're doing something like that, a restaurant, you can even offer a gift certificate just to get them to come into the store or into your location. It doesn't have to be much. It could be $5 gift certificate, $10 gift certificate, but it gets them in. And once you get them in, then they're more likely to come back. So keep that in mind. Okay, and also social media. Our hashtag is #EtowahExpo18. So when you're doing those social media posts prior to the expo and during the expo, use that hashtag, EtowahExpo18. And we're also going to email these slides out to everybody, so you'll have a copy of these as well. Okay, more on engagement. If you do not successfully engage them, you'll miss out on a great opportunity to make contacts or clients. So this is kind of focusing in on prizes and giveaways. There's a couple of different options that you have when it comes to prizes. You can have a prize at your booth where people fill out the slip, you know, for drawing to receive that prize, which we highly recommend doing. That is going to be a great way to collect that information, collect their email addresses, their phone numbers, their names. We definitely recommend doing that. And of course, the bigger the prize is, the better. You know, of course, everybody is able and willing to spend different amounts, but we have found that if you have a really good large prize, sometimes it's better than having multiple smaller ones. But again, that's just your preference, whatever you think would be best. You can also, of course, have it at your booth like we just talked about, or you can also fill out a form, and we have copies of it right here. And if you fill out this form, this will be a prize that you give to us that we give out at the end of the day. Correct? All throughout the day. So that would of course be announced by us and handed out by us. So you can do either. We encourage you to do both. It's great to do something, of course, at your booth, and then it's also great to have that as well. You're getting your business called out, recognized for the prize, and then getting that out as well. So we have forms for that.
That would be like for an example, if you gave, somebody was talking earlier about giving us a Yeti cup. So at, you know, probably every hour we'll get up on stage and say, okay, we have this Yeti cup from APG, we're going to be giving away, and they're located at booth blah blah blah. Please make sure you go visit them, check out what they have going on, check out their really fun game, whatever. So we're going to help attract attention to your booth with those prizes, and then we'll also be giving away your prize to somebody who can then spread your name around the community.
So both of those are really great to do and plan ahead of time. Also think about tiered prizes, and you hand those out depending on how much they engage with you. So say for instance you have, you know, your basic promotional item prize that anybody who comes to your booth can come and get. But then you may go a step up and have another nice, like a prize that's a little bit more nice if they give you, if they fill out a slip, and give you your contact information or whatever. Or they may get, a much bigger prize if they take a photo at your booth, tag your business in it, and tag a friend in it and share it on social media. So depending on how much they engage at the booth, which ultimately how much they promote your business in the process as well, you can even give prizes out depending on that too. So that's an idea. We've seen that before. So, and then giveaways. Be sure all of your giveaways and promotional items have your logo on it. So most people already know this, but it's just a good reminder. Be sure anything that you bring to hand out at the expo, it has your business logo or information on there. Because they'll be taking that with them and using that elsewhere, so it's great to have that on there. And then also, the more creative you are with your giveaways, the better. So there's all kinds of promotional items out there. You would be surprised at some of the different things that they have out there. So you can get really creative with it. If you already have promotional items and you're good, then great. But if you need to get promotional items before the event, let us know, and we can give you all the contact information for our members who do promotional products. So let us know, and then we can get you that contact information. And then also, visible prizes are the best. One example is at an expo, they gave out tattoos with the company logo on it. And so if you took that tattoo and you put it on your hand, you got like a cup. Or if you took the tattoo and you put it on, your arm or something, you got a better prize. But and there was people walking around, they had the tattoos on their face, because everybody will see that. And if they put that little logo tattoo on your face, then they got the big prize, something a lot nicer. So think of it that way. You want your prize to be visible. If you can get creative with that too, if you can think of something that they could wear or something that can be seen at the expo as they're walking around, then that's definitely something great to consider. Does anybody have any questions about prizes and giveaways so far? Okay, so here are some different engagement ideas, and one of the things that we're doing this year, of course, since we have an activity theme, we encourage you to have some sort of really engaging activity that the visitors can participate in. Because the more fun that you're having at your booth, the more it's going to draw other people to come to it as well. So you definitely want to have something fun for them to do. Here's just a few ideas. You can do a wheel of prizes. It's really simple. You just got a wheel, they can spin it, whatever they land on, they get that. You can do golf. There's like some putt-putt type things that you can rent and or buy and bring to that. Roulette wheel, Plinko board, counting contest. If you don't know what a counting contest is, you basically have a jar of M&Ms or Skittles or whatever, and they have to guess how many is in there, and whoever gets closest to the actual number that's in that jar, they win the prize. And then you can get super fun and creative with like trivia games, like game shows, or super-sized games like Jenga, or super-sized board games like Monopoly, Life, Candyland. You can get there's a lot of board games out there, so you can get really creative with that. Very creative. A couple of examples in the past, one of the hospitals, I think it was last year or the year before, and they'll probably do it again this year. So, but they actually did a life-size Operation game, and that was so awesome. That was really cool. So they had that out. Everybody could kind of play Operation, and it was really, really neat to see. But the oversized board games, those are really fun, and so those are some options. And then also a photo contest. you definitely want to, I guess you could think of it this way: if you have some sort of photo contest, they put it on social media. It's great for them because they get the prize, but then it's also great for you because they're promoting your business as well. So if you have a photo contest, some ideas are having some photo props or having like some cutout that they can hold and, you know, put their group in with your company information on it. And then they could get some kind of special prize for taking that photo and then, like, you know, posting it on social media. What's another photo contest?
Most of them are like they would let you take the picture, post it on your social media account, and then at the end of the day, whichever of the photos that you posted that had the most likes would win the prize.
Yeah.
So that would mean that they would have to get out on social media and share it and tell all their friends to like it and like your page and whatever. So it's just a good way to drive traffic.
Yeah. So that's something that's really neat. So hopefully these are a few good ideas that you can think of. Okay, right now we are going to kind of just brainstorm just for a few minutes. Raise your hand if you do not currently have an activity theme picked out yet.
We do. I'm not doing it for us.
Okay.
I'm not sure that she
Okay.
does.
So everybody kind of has an idea of what they want to do then?
I didn't know there was a theme, so that's why I'm here. So,
Okay.
But that's good. I mean, I've got some ideas, and we've definitely got sports, parks and rec. You know, we've all got games. I just don't know
Okay.
exactly what we're going to do yet.
Does anybody feel like they need help coming up? Because we were going to do a brainstorming activity and brainstorm some ideas for somebody who needed help. Anybody need help coming up with some ideas for their activity? Am I just die on top of it? Or we just use an example?
Yeah, y'all are awesome. Y'all already got it figured out.
These are the pros.
Yeah,
We've got
these are
several, like this is our first time, however, like we have a group of like 5 of us, 6 of us together, and everybody has input 2 to 3 ideas.
Mhm.
We don't know exactly which ones we're gonna use yet, but we still have
We got
ideas.
more than enough.
Good.
So, right, everybody, you know, we just make everybody work, so
Good,
that's-
good.
makes it easier.
Yeah. Well, and just get creative with it. And like, say for instance, one of the things, just for an example, we were talking to some real estate offices about, I can't remember which one, about a potential theme. And we thought, hey, why not Monopoly? That kind of, you know, ties in with real estate. So you can kind of get creative depending on, you know, like you can pick a game or a game show that may have something to do with your type of business, or you can either, even tie in other activities, but tie in things about your business. Like, you know, we had somebody who tied in, like they had, it was Western boots, because it was a country music radio station. And then they did, you know, through the rings, and instead of landing it on a bottle, they landed it, you know, they had to land it on the boots. So, I mean, you can get really creative with it. And then also, one of the things I did want to mention that I saw at some other past expos, you can even incorporate your door prizes and the prizes that you give away into your decoration. I thought this was really neat because there was a booth that had like hanging plants and like some really pretty ferns and, you know, flowers and stuff like that. And so they actually used it for decoration to brighten up their booth. But then that was also one of the door prize options that, you know, the person could select to take home with them. So you can also incorporate that as well. And then also just be really creative in your booth design and decoration, because honestly, the more like visual and colorful and fun it looks, the more they're going to want to come check it out. You know, there's been times when I've gone past booths and I was just so curious because it looked so neat, and I really wanted to check it out, you know, and so of course that's the first ones that I'm going to go to, just because I was curious to see what they had inside. And so yeah, the more you do that, then the more traffic you'll pull from for your booth. So does anybody have any tips or pointers, since most people has participated before? Any tips or pointers on decorating or engagement for the newbies?
For engagement, I'll say that if you can have an activity that involves multiple people participating at once, you're more likely to draw a crowd, and crowds attract more crowds. So the bigger you can make your activities, you know, if you do a trivia game, have 3 people against each other instead of just doing it with one person at a time, because they'll have people with them and they'll have people with them, and then people will see a crowd and they'll want to come over and see what you're doing, and you're more likely to attract more traffic if you're just drawing a crowd.
Yeah, in most games you can turn it into a multi-person. Like one of the people that came in for the training, they were possibly wanting to use that boot idea, throw in the rings to land on the pair of Western boots. And so instead of that just being for one person, you could turn it into a race and have 2 people side by side doing it, and whoever does it, you know, rings the most in 30 seconds wins. So I mean, you can kind of, you know, incorporate or change it up a little bit to where multiple people can participate in that at the same time. So okay, so here are a few do's and don'ts regarding the expo and engagement. Definitely wear your name badge. We hope to see your logo and business name all over your expo booth, but definitely be sure that you have your name badge on there so they know who you are, they can see your name, and they can see your business logo once again. And then also, remember to interact with every visitor at your booth. It is going to be very, very hard, especially during those really busy times, to really acknowledge and communicate with so many people at the same time. So if you are sitting here talking to 2 or 3 people that's walked up to your booth and you see someone come up interested, if you're not able to escape that conversation, at least make eye contact with them and smile at them and wave at them and just let them know that you have noticed them. And, you know, hopefully they'll come in, and then, you know, you'll be able to speak with them. And then this is also kind of a little bit later in, but just be sure, like, whenever you're speaking with somebody, if you kind of close off the conversation and you're talking to them one-on-one, be sure to kind of open yourself up. And so that way, if you're communicating or, you know, giving them your elevator pitch, just kind of open it up for everybody. So instead of having that one-on-one conversation, kind of give it to the group, tell the whole group about it as they're coming up. That way they can all hear about it. And if you need to have that one-on-one conversation, then after you've spoken with everybody, you can kind of get with them and make your appointment, or, you know, finish that conversation, whatever it may be. Because if you have somebody walk by and, you know, no one really pays them attention, then they may not come inside your booth. So you definitely want to smile, be positive and upbeat, and just try to communicate with everybody, or at least acknowledge everybody that comes in your booth at that time. Also, be sure to hand out business cards to visitors. So be sure every single person who comes into your booth, they get a business card or your contact information. That's very, very important. And then also, don't forget, well, this is later on, but don't forget to do the same with the vendors, because you'll meet a lot of great contacts, the people who come to attend the expo, but you'll also make some great contacts with the other vendors. So definitely take time when it's a little bit slower to make your rounds, introduce yourself to the other vendors, and get their contact information, because there's a great networking opportunity amongst all of you as well, with all the participants at the expo. And then also, as people are coming up to your booth, invite them to come play. You may have a few shy people, you know what I'm talking about, they're just like kind of slowly like eyeballing it and walking by, you know. But if the best thing to do as far as the booth setup is take that table and that is there, either remove it completely or push it to the side. If you need to put your promotional items on that table, put the table to the side. That way it's open between you and that person when you're talking with them, and that also gives you the ability to kind of walk out, step out a little bit, you know, shake their hand, invite them to come in. And so it makes it more like comfortable and casual, as opposed to having that table in the middle of the two of you. So that's definitely a big, well, we recommend that. So that's something that you can think about doing. And then also maintain a positive, upbeat attitude during the expo and smile when you're greeting visitors. So like we said earlier, it's going to be a long day, but you never know who's going to walk in at the last minute. You know, that last hour of the expo, you may have somebody coming in that is a good lead, a good customer for you. So just be sure that you just carry that through till the very end, because we do have people coming in until the very end of the expo. And then also plan for the busiest times of the day, which is actually around lunchtime. So the expo starts at 11 o'clock and then it ends at 7 o'clock. So the busiest times are going to be that lunch rush, people coming during their lunch break, 11, 12, 1 o'clock or so. So your downtime is going to probably be between 2 and 4 o'clock, would you say? 2 and 4 o'clock. So that's actually when we're going to be providing lunch for all of the exhibitors. So we'll have lunch in the hospitality at 2 o'clock, and we did that because it's going to be super busy during lunchtime. So 2 o'clock, we're going to have that ready for y'all. That way it's a little bit slower and you have time to come in the hospitality suite, get your lunch, and have some downtime. Okay, and also, of course, we've already covered this. Post photos on social media and ask the visitors to post too. So that's very important. So just keep that in mind. The more you're creating a buzz, the more people will want to come check it out. And then here's a few don'ts for the Business Expo. Some of these are kind of common sense, but some of them, if you've never participated in an expo before, then some of these are just important to know ahead of time. Do not place your table between you and the visitors unless absolutely necessary. Just have that open space. That way, if somebody's walking by, you have room to talk with them. And also, if you take and push that table to the side or to the back, they have to come inside the booth to come get your information, promotional items, register for a prize. So kind of just remember the placement as you're getting everything set up. Do not sit down when visitors are around your booth. That's something big. If people are coming to it, you need to be up, able to shake their hand, communicate with them, learn about them, tell them about your business. So if you're tired and you need a break, that would be a great time to use that buddy system and have somebody kind of come in and take your place so you can, take a few minutes to rest and then come back and you're rejuvenated and ready to go. So keep that in mind. Don't eat, chew gum, or be on your phone when visitors are nearby. That's also something just to keep in mind, because a lot of times people, if they see someone sitting and eating, then at that moment that food is more important than the people coming in the booth. That's how they kind of see it. So definitely keep that in mind and try to do that in the hospitality suite, because that's what that's for. That's for breaks and food and all that stuff. So. And then also don't leave your booth for any reason, because there is going to be people coming in and out all throughout the day. So if you have to leave to use the restroom or go to the hospitality suite, just have that buddy system in place. Have somebody there to stay there if you have to leave for any reason. Also, don't ignore prospects by forming a cozy cluster or chatting with your colleagues. And we kind of covered that before, instead of kind of being off and having that one-on-one conversation with someone, just kind of open up and just, kind of have a conversation with a group in a way. That way you're able to talk with all of them and not leave anybody out. And then also keep in mind, chatting with your colleagues in the downtime, that's totally awesome, to share leads and talk about what's going on. But when visitors are coming into the booth, definitely give them attention, and definitely make it a point to communicate with them. And then also don't pull guests from another person's booth or booth area. That's just really out of respect for the other people who are participating in the expo. Your booth space is your booth space. So, you know, right here in your booth, and then just, you know, right in the front of it, you know, that's your booth space. So you definitely want to kind of stay in that area, just to not, you know, really be disrespectful to anybody who is around you at another booth. Everybody will get a chance to speak with that person. So just kind of keep that in mind as well the day of the expo. Do not pack up early. That is definitely something very, very important. The event officially ends at 7 o'clock, so everything needs to stay up until 7 o'clock. It actually says in the contract that if you tear down early, you won't be allowed to come back the next year. So just be mindful of that, and that's also out of respect of the public and the attendees, because they may not be able to come until 6 o'clock after they get off work, or 6:30, you know, and so they want to be able to see everybody and participate and be a part of it. So that's just really out of respect for them too. And then also we've got a big like restaurant booth voting, best restaurant voting at that during the afternoon. So everything needs to be set up for that as well, because that's going to be a big draw in for people in the afternoon. And then also, don't forget why you participated. You participated to have fun, promote your business, tell people about what you do, meet people, make contacts, you know, grow your connections. So just keep that in mind, because, you know, and Susie's going to talk about this in just a little bit. You know, you can make great contacts with all the people. I mean, you can get a ton of contacts at this event, but you also have to be very intentional about what you do with those contacts after you receive them to really get the most out of your booth. So Susie's going to talk about that now. She's going to give you some tips on what to do after you collect that information. But before she comes up here, does anybody have any questions?
How big is the area on the passport that we would stamp or stick or something?
It'll be less than an inch by an inch. I mean, it'll be small. Last year they were 1-inch circles. I haven't made the design this year for the passport yet, but it'll probably be very similar.
Okay.
Anybody got any other questions? Okay, well, I'll turn it back over to Susie and she'll finish up.